What is up, my fellow parents, moms, and dads from all around the world? How's it going? Hey, welcome to episode 1 of the Sean Donahue Show. Family, parenting, good vibes. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. This is years and years in the making. So happy to be a part of this with you. And I'm joined by one of my favorite people in the whole world, one of my best friends. I met Jordan Steele when he was 14 years old and I was 22.
It's been a long time.
Now here we are. We're all grown up. We each got 3 kids. Gosh, you've been married to your high school sweetheart, Danielle. We'll call her Danny for short. You've got 3 kids. You are a weatherman on this tiny network called the Weather Channel. And now here we are. We're doing a podcast together. What's up?
Life's such a crazy journey, man. I mean, I still remember when we were hanging out back in my high school days, and you look over at one of the leaders and you're like, that's going to be my wife. And now you are married to Danielle. You guys have an awesome life. And one of my favorite things about these life journeys that we all have is watching other people as we grow, and me watching you. I'm just like, it's been so cool to see where you have gotten. And I guess we should start there. For everybody who doesn't know who Sean Donahue is, what you do, kind of break that down. How did you get to where you are? And tell us a little bit of your history.
All right, man, let's do it. And then you tell them your history of how you got here. Right. So I'm 43-year-old man right now. And I started working with teenagers right back in the day when I was 22. And that's actually how I met Jordan. I became his mentor in this local nonprofit based out of San Diego. It's called Campus Life. And so my story is really was planning on doing a career in comedy. And I was doing stand-up, right? Even when I was 19 and 20, it was going very well. And that was the first thing I ever really got passionate about. I said, I'm going to move to Hollywood and become a comedy writer or a stand-up. And I had a gig one night, and I was also starting to volunteer with high school kids at the time. And I said to myself, look, I don't even care about this anymore. I don't care about comedy. I just feel like this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. I'm supposed to be around young people. And I didn't know what it was going to do at that time. High school counselor, I was going to be a therapist. And I was just trying to figure it out, as a young man. So fast forward, now I'm 25. Danielle and I are now married, and we got a freaking kid in our house, in our little tiny apartment. And oh my gosh, it was so hard. I mean, I grew up on Jackass and Tom Green, and now here I am. I'm a husband, and I'm a man child, and I got a child, and I didn't know what to do. You relate to that at all? Remember that?
100. I think everybody listening can relate to that. Yeah.
So overwhelming. It's just
life slaps you in the face pretty quick when that happens.
Marriage, Danielle and I, we were just having a hard time in our first year of marriage. Then we throw a kid in the way. Now, we watched a lot of TV. That's what you do when you have a baby. And there was a TV show on. If you're my age, you might remember it. It was very famous at the time. It was on for a long time. That show was called The Super Nanny. Jordan, I'm older than you. Do you remember that show at all?
I remember it. Didn't watch it, but I remember it.
Yeah, you didn't watch it, because you were in your 20s, or you were in your late teens, 20s. You weren't having kids, so a lot of my generation watched it, and it showed this British lady named Jo, and she would go into these everyday American homes where there's a lot of chaos, messiness, regular American homes. She would spend the first day just kind of observing, rolling her eyes, whispering to the camera, like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe my parents let their kids do that," or "Oh my gosh, those kids are out of control." But she would do an English accent, right? And then she would kind of emotionally connect with the parents and the kids and bring creative ideas, structure, emotional connection to the families. And if any parent was watching this, you probably said the same thing I said. I wish the super nanny would come to my house, help me figure this out. But for me, it was actually a deeper, life-changing experience where I looked at what she did, and I found it to be like really profound. So she was going into the homes and working with the whole family. And I thought to myself, we don't really do that in society. We separate kids from parents so much. We do it in schools, we do it in churches, youth groups, therapists are often separate. And I was like, look, this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. I said to my wife, I turned to her, I said, this is it. I'm going to become like the teen super nanny. That was a long time ago. And so
the dad nanny.
Dad nanny. And so, lots have changed. So I really dedicated, over 15 years of my life just studying the art of parenting, the psychology of parenting, the psychology of raising tweens and teens, and start off with just me. It was called Sean Donahue Family Coaching. And I was really working with all types of tweens and teens, from really out of control defiant ones to ones that are really struggling with just like kind of typical issues. And then I started speaking. One of my first big gigs was at Chevron World Headquarters, and they asked me to give a talk called Teens and Screens. What parents need to know about teen social media. When this happened, all the parents had their head in the freaking sand. They didn't know what the crap was going on.
We're still talking about it today.
We've come a long way, right? And
but it's still a problem.
It's still, this is like this is, we talk about how this is the first generation of kids to grow up with these screens in their pockets, their bedrooms, their backpacks. We're actually the first generation of parents, though.
Yeah.
Who grew up having kids who have these, who want these, and then you add COVID in there. Mm-hmm. Woo! So at Chevron here, it was actually a turning point in my life, because most people in this space are women therapists, or for the few men that do kind of parent coaching, they're traditionally not like me in a sense. Like I'm as you know, Jordan and I are kind of in a lot of ways kind of typical American men. We like football, sports, outdoors, backpacking, hunting, gathering.
Yeah.
And so I was nervous, man. I was nervous. Are they gonna accept me? Am I a little edgy for them? Do I have to change my vibe to kind of connect to these women? Because usually it's women that come to PTA meetings and parent ed. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I have wisdom. I have something to share. And this was a long time ago. Now I just need to be myself, for better or worse. And it's from there, it's just been an awesome experience. There was a huge line of people lined up asking me questions, wanting me to work for them or help their families. And now I have a team of coaches. We have clients from all around the world, parent clients, college age clients, 20s, teens, tweens. And the firm is called Parenting Modern Teens. We have a growing TikTok, YouTube. And now here we are, man. I got a book on the way. It's coming out hopefully this year. Hopefully it'll be in every Target and Walmart. And now here we are. It's me and you, man, doing a podcast.
Real quick, I have a question along your journey. Yeah. Especially you being in a field where you're this guy going into, your crowd, so to speak, is you're talking to women, like you were saying. And so you're trying to please the women.
Yes.
But yet you're also trying to be a guy.
Yes.
And I know the guys are probably thinking, hey, you're too, feminine or using too many feelings. Let's knuckle them up and teach them the hard way. So do you now look at like studies and statistics? Because more and more of that's coming out to say the important role of dads in lives.
For sure.
And just the important role of actually having the both-sided conversation.
It's an interesting time in actually the history of parenting, because this is actually, we are a new generation of moms and dads everywhere. We want to be those, we want to be treated with respect. We want obedience. We want hygiene. We want all that good old school stuff, but we want to be close with our kids. We want to mentor them. We want them
to be their friends,
their secrets. We want to be either their friend or like a friend. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
And that's kind of, and as men, we're actually a brand new generation of men where we have this thing called social media. And while men are now reading books about parenting, they're listening to this podcast. And so to answer your question, yes, I have a lot of men and women that follow me. Yes, I do get a lot of hate and negativity, mostly through like TikTok, just from like old school type men that says like, I would never talk to my kids this way. I would never share my feelings. I would just hit my kid, or I would cuss him out, or my kids know who's bossed up, old school stuff like that. Yeah, whatever. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I love it all.
This is probably one of the first generations also to like majority of people not hitting their children.
I recently